Hey everybody, and welcome to Blood Bowl. I'm Complacent Badger.
I'm Kilo.
And we are watching the Coarse Heirs versus the Nordic Kneecappers in the semifinals.
Yeah, this was a pretty brutal game. So I'm excited. I didn't watch it since I played it, so this will be a good opportunity to see if I can see what I was doing when I was doing it.
Yeah, and this was a game that was definitely an uphill battle for both teams. He's got to worry about losing his players too quickly, and you've got to worry about losing, or rather, getting scored on too quickly.
Yeah. So I came in with a pretty solid plan. What I thought was a pretty solid plan. It was pretty funny because there was a glitch in the game, and we had to reset prior to kickoff. But it was a really good setup for me, and then it was the worst possible setup for me. So that was it's just how the game rolls. It was just pretty funny. So what we're gonna have here is Corsair setting up pretty strong. I'm setting up pretty strong, and trying to get pretty much in a position to knock his players out to the maximum extent possible. So I'm kicking off to him. I've got a strong line, and I'm setting up to get some backfield presence on that ball if I can. I've got a werewolf matched one-on-one, and then some players behind trying to get presence on the ball. So we'll see how that turns out. But that was the goal of that situation.
Yeah. I can see a couple holes, especially on that left side, but it looks pretty deliberate with the werewolf and the other lineman being there.
Yeah, that's the side where most of my guys have tackle, and I wanted to set that up as not really necessarily a trap, but a little bit of a trap.
Mm-hmm.
So I was hoping to keep the ball in the backfield for a half step longer than that, but It didn't work out so well.
So yeah, Dump King there. So a tricky situation, because you know the moment that you go for him, and they have nerves of steel, so...
Right. So I went a different route. I said, I'm going to hope to maybe cage him or interfere with him, but I think that, let's see if I did it, but yeah, I went for his receiver that was closer,
yeah, that's
and then put a guy with tackle on him.
Yep, and then no matter where he dodges, he's still got at least one tackle zone to deal with.
Yep.
And now with Brett there, it makes it even worse. It's pretty congested.
So that was the goal. I didn't have a lot of hope for that actually working when it came down to it, but I figured that was a better option than the alternate.
Yeah. It's a pretty good position that you have yourself in. You're lined up against a lot of his players, and the Dumb King's not in a great position.
Right. He did manage to stun my guy first turn, so that was a little disheartening.
Okay, so a pretty easy dodge, but he gets no... Oh, he's got those halflings destroyed you. He's got 6 rerolls.
Yeah, oh yeah, he got all 3 of them this time.
So a fairly easy dodge out, but he doesn't get to use dodge against either one of them. So that could be pretty useful, but of course, oh, he fails to go for it though. And
I know what.
And you know what? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal, but I feel less and less bad for him as this turn kind of goes on, as these turns go on, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the dice were definitely not hot for me. I'm not going to say that they were good for him, but just the amount of shit that...
Yeah. It's interesting that you went for the pickup instead of the mark, but I guess with a 3+ and a reroll, that it's not terrible odds.
Right, and my thought process was, with his presence back there, I need to get that ball somewhere. I need to make it difficult for him to get, because he's just gonna, if it's on the ground, he's gonna fucking pick it up and run in. So the only hope that I had was to pick up the ball.
Yep.
That way he'd have to put 2 guys on me and take me out.
Mm-hmm.
So that obviously didn't work out, so that was disheartening. But now I received, so that's that.
Yeah, so he scored 1, but that definitely gives you enough time to score yourself, so it's not it's not a lost cause.
Right.
Just one of those things of pressuring an elf team is it forces them to score faster, which gives you a better drive.
Right. So I'm trying to get a little bit of backfield presence, anticipating a kick to a corner, but I think that I could manage it. Lining up all my big guys on the line. I want Brett in the middle, and both those werewolves. And then, of course, he gets blitz, so he's just all fucking in my backfield. So that didn't go well. So not only does he have all of my rerolls, he kicked first, has a touchdown, he gets blitz now, pins it deep in the corner, and he got a turn on me. So that's tough.
Yeah.
And you know how we talk about having a plan for when your plan goes wrong? I'm already two plans in the hole on this.
Mm-hmm.
So trying my best to get it going. Now I know that because he's got such a deep presence, my thought process is to and just for the record, all 3 of my linemen knocked them down, but didn't knock them out. So I didn't even get a stun on three guys with Mighty Blow.
Yeah.
So my thought process is I've got that +1 agility lineman. He's in the middle there, I think. And I'm going to try to get it to him if I can to move the pack forward. Because if I can get forward movement, I'm not going to be able to outrun him, but I've got enough players. I've got my werewolves up there where I think that I can do something instead of being pinned real deep in the back.
Yep. Tackle working out and forcing him to use a team reroll that he stole from you.
Yeah.
There you go. And then
so that helped out a lot.
Yeah, tackle saving the day twice in that turn.
So trying to get him out of the way because I think he's got pass block.
It's interesting that with Frenzy you chose to reroll your first result knowing that you had some pretty scary rolls ahead.
Right, and you know what I realized? I think that I could have used Juggernaut instead.
Well, they were both pushes anyways. The 2 results won't let me see it, but your first result was push, and then you did another push. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Okay.
If it is true, then that was a huge mistake. But
yeah, and that one doesn't have oh no, is it this one? Neither one of them have Juggernaut anyways. So.
Right, Brett has Juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't particularly remember how that went down, but I was pretty fucking upset. So from about turn 2 on, I was on a little bit of tilt. So now he's ahead, and this is where it really goes wrong for me because I start playing. I start playing to score touchdowns and not really prevent touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it's that point in the game where I start playing a little more aggressively than might be prudent, but at the same time, when you're 2 touchdowns down against a team where you shouldn't be able to get 3 touchdowns, period,
mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens.
Hey, a pen.
You can see that he's got his dodge guy on Brett, which is fine, but this is how long it took me to get my first stun.
Well, he also didn't offer you a lot of chances to hit. He kept scoring, which would reset. So you're really just throwing hits against the line for the most part of the game.
Right. But those guys, I really would hope to get more than 1 out of 6.
Well, it's odds for them to pen, so that's odd that it didn't happen yet. He penned you and resulted in a missed next game after a apothecary.
3, yeah, he's already penned me 3 or 4 times, and I've got 1 on him. So that's, I don't know. I think he's hacking because that's what happened. That's what happened last time.
You've got the same armor roll, so really it's just the difference of a difference of 1. You know what I mean?
Oh, I absolutely know. But that's just, it's one of those things where you're like, motherfuck.
Yeah, and there it is again. But that guy's the armor value 6 guy, so he's supposed to get hurt.
Yeah. Finally, somebody taking advantage of that.
See, and another thing, that's an attacker down, both down, and you opted to reroll that knowing that you have block when you could have just not spent the reroll.
Right.
Especially when it's your last reroll and you're kind of looking at potential last-ditch efforts. And obviously this is, Monday quarterback, but...
Right. But like I said, I was on tilt a little bit, so I was really, I was frustrated with a lot of shit that happened. And that was one of the big ones, because I knew that I burned that reroll. I thought that it was a good move then. I didn't see that was going to be a bad... Right, because I needed to get that pass block guy out. And then, I'm not going to say that I was surprised that didn't go, because the game hadn't really been rolling in my favor. But that shouldn't have been a difficult pitch catch.
Well, the big deal was you didn't have a reroll to kind of ensure it, and the pass blocker was there. You wouldn't have made it with... you would have made it had the pass blocker not been there. Because your ending result was 2, which without the pass blocker it would have been a 3.
Yep. But I think that previous successes had blinded me to it. So.
All required Mighty Blow, but...
Right. So here's where it kind of turns. Now that it's turn 7 and I'm 3 touchdowns behind, that I really start... the hits start rolling. I needed him to be down 3 players by this point. I was really expecting to get some knockouts. That's why I was setting up those 3 Mighty Blows right on the line. And it just didn't work. And that was really kind of necessary to my strategy, because otherwise his guys just kind of do whatever they want. I can't get enough contact. So... That's just he's playing a super good game.
Well, he's not offered a lot of chances to mess up. The exception might be that there's gaps in your starting lineup against Elves, and I don't know if this is the most appropriate way to line up against Elves, but the way I like to do it is setting up on the wings, 1 from the sideline, and do... 1 player, basically, I'll show you right here, where this player is right here, and then another player right behind him. Set up one right here, another one right behind him. Have your 3 on the line like this, then 1 right here, 1 right here, and then 1 right here, 1 right here. That blocks all lanes, and even if he blitzes, it's not easy. The only weakness you have is your front line, but those where your impenetrable guys should be. And that leaves you enough to put, I think, no safeties? Yeah, I think it's because it's 8 and then 3, so yeah, no safeties.
And that's a super traditional, and that's right out of the book. And I think that's one of those things that I try to avoid, is the textbook version of how to do it. And I think, it's one of those trying to get with tackle and a guy with pass block, and that's part of the fun of the game and the frustration as well. But I think that was one of the things that I was looking at.
It's just one of those things. I think this is a season where the problem with stopping Elves has been highlighted, mostly due to the fact that there's 3 Elf teams now.
Right.
So everybody is consistently losing to Elves, and the overwhelming opinion is that they're just unstoppable. They will score when they want, and it's really comes down to forcing them to make rolls. And if you're leaving it to where one blitz can make it to where 5 guys can get into your backfield without having to make a single roll, that's not forcing them to make rolls.
Oh, you're right there.
So applies a fractured leg. It's a nice return of the fractured leg.
Right? A modicum of success.
Hey, a cage.
Yeah. Yeah, finally didn't have enough movement allowances to get an extra guy in there, and then you'll watch this stupid mistake that I make over here in a second. Because I stopped. I was kind of getting reactionary, and I know that I was, but
it looks like he's down to 9 players.
Yeah.
You have 1, 2, 3.
So I make a good move on the wrong player, is essentially what happens. Then I get myself in a shittier situation.
It looks like you might have 10.
So that's what I did. That was the stupid move, was that dodge sidestep with Brett. I could have just left that motherfucker alone, and it would have been fine. But then I hit him again, and I miss, and now he's adjacent to my fucking ball carrier, and I gotta.
Well, I mean, if you dodge out here, now it's bad.
Right.
Now it's bad.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh, but he's down, so that's not bad anymore.
Well, it's still bad because now I have to dodge into a tackle zone.
No. If you dodge left, there's no tackle zone.
Good. Yep, that's what I moved him out there for a reason, I think, then.
Yeah, there you go. Oh. Be real, man. You're doing some real tricksy stuff. Like, I know you're fucking 3-0.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not scoring touchdowns because you're doing weird shit will continue to make either the breadth of difference the same or worse.
That was one of those that I threw my fucking mouse across the room. That was a dumb move. I went for two going for it.
Yeah.
And lost them.
And probably didn't go from one at a time from what it looked like either.
No, definitely didn't.
So it looks like you kind of shut down early game, of just kind of realizing that maybe a hole was dug for you pretty deep.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where if you're gonna lose, you got to go out looking for a win, and that's what I thought I was doing. But when you look at it in back, you go, man, you just didn't take the time to set it up right for yourself. So there were. I don't know, like the first one was bad, the second one was, you don't really, like that was, I thought that I did a fairly decent job of trying to get out of that, but that blitz action was pretty potent. And yeah, I think that you're right where the setup was wrong from the start, but...
You had good components to the setup, but I don't think the leaving an opening is a good strategy. I really don't, because it's not... it's pretty transparent. People are seeing, it's like, okay, there's dudes with tackle, and what these characters are capable of. Really, all you're doing is inviting Elves to take half of your side of the pitch on the first turn.
Yeah. But you realize, that tackle isn't as powerful as it could be.
It is massively powerful. It's one of the few skills that actually cancels another player's skill, which that's very powerful. Off the top of my head, I can't name. I think wrestle is the exception to that, but wrestle can't cause turnovers like tackle can.
Yeah, but here's my thought process on that. Even when you strip that tackle away, these guys are still agility 4.
I mean, agreed. A dodge team that is built to be dodgy
Yeah.
It is difficult to stop them doing what they do. It's very similar to a bash team that is built to bash. They're difficult to stop from doing that. But every tool that you add to it to make it more difficult. If you were making it 50% less likely for him to succeed a dodge, which if you take away dodge, that is exactly what you're doing. I don't think there's another skill in the game that directly causes something to be 50% less likely.
I agree with you on principle, but I'd like to look at the actual numbers on that, because I think that the success rate of the dodge is so high that it's, I don't know. I'd like to see what the actual numbers are. I bet you're right though. You mean you're the guy.
I mean, ask teams like the Amazons how powerful tackle is.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
It's I don't know. It's tough sometimes. And trust me, I've been there. I've been where I have lost horribly, and then just been like, I have no fucking clue what I could have done. And then I watch the video, and I'm like, probably could have just focused.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. This was not a super good match.
Take it from me, man. I play Gabos, man. Tackle players will destroy me. But again, talking Elves, anything that you can do to reduce their rolls is the only way to beat them.
Oh, right. Well, and this shit show that we've got going on right here is just exactly what I should have been doing the whole match. Just getting, and I've been leaving those two guys down there because I think he's pass block, and he's my runner, high agility, not high agility, but just high movement, just trying to get in the way of shit.
Wow, that was a wide scatter.
Right. So that's, this should be interesting as well now that it's turned 15-16. So
next season he's going to have one less person.
That's
his kicker too.
Yeah, that's one of those things when you feel really bad about, but you're like, you know what? It wasn't even the middle. Like, the game was won. There was, it's your last fucking turn, and I didn't even get a star player point from it because I knock him out of a goddamn pitch.
Well, because I was looking at marking the ball, and then you hit him, and I was like, I didn't even think about that. That's actually a way better strategy. And then you killed him, and I was like, success.
Yeah, Ducky Shoes was really mad that wasn't the Dumb King, but she was pleased that I killed somebody.
Of course. How many fucking MVPs is this guy gonna catch?
It's because he hacks. I told you, man. All of them. Guaranteed.
All right. So yeah, that's one of the semifinal games.
So that's your finalist is the Coarse Heirs. So
yes.
That was good. It was good to play him again, and that team is tough, especially when if you're coming in with a bit of a disadvantage, just man, I don't know how he does it with the team value where he's at, but he's just such a good coach. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him, and really looking forward to seeing the next semifinal match, so that we could find out who's going to the finals to play against the Coarse Heirs.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody knows what that is yet.
Not a single person.
Big secret.
Especially nobody watching. All right, we'll catch you on the next one.
Later.